Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Baggie Brothers video. I'm Dan, this is my brother Adam, and we're going to be talking all things Albion. And today we are doing a post-match review of our game against Harrogate Town in association with WBA Base. So, first off, 3-0. Finally, some
We've
goals.
scored. We've
We've
scored.
scored 3 goals, and two of
Yeah,
them were brilliant goals.
absolute bangers, weren't they?
Just,
Yeah,
yeah, Harper's goal was just a delight.
yeah.
Robson Kanu's goal was just amazing. I wasn't
Do you know what?
expecting him to pull something like that out.
All three goals I thought were really good. Obviously, the third one was a tap-in, but
Third one, but
Edwards has played down that wing.
yeah,
Really good. Really, really good.
absolutely fantastic. Obviously, we do have to. I think it's worth taking into consideration we were only playing Harrogate.
Yeah.
That's no disrespect to Harrogate, but
No, I
they
thought
are a
they played
League
quite
Two
well.
team. One of the things I was going to say was that they played some really good football at times. And at
Yeah,
points watching the game, I was thinking they might score because they played really well going
yeah.
forward. They just,
Especially at set pieces.
set pieces were good. I think
Yeah.
they were maybe unfortunate not to get a couple of goals in the game, but I'm glad they didn't.
No, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just judging sort of a few of the, thinking about how everyone went, I think the key players I'd say for this match, the players that I was impressed with, let's say, first off, David Button. I thought he had a great game in goal. He made some really good saves, some important saves, very commanding of the back line, and again, it just seemed to be very confident in goal.
100%. When Johnson gets the ball at the back, I always get a little bit nervous and twitchy. But with
Yeah.
Button, you can tell he's a no-nonsense keeper. If the ball comes back to him, he will just smash it up the other end of the field. Or if he sees someone in space coming to the ball, he'll play it straight to him.
Well, in the first half, once he made a save and he played such a great ball over to Grzycki on the right wing.
Out of the
Played
hands,
such a great ball, yeah, and it was like,
reminded
wow, what great vision.
reminded me a bit like Pickford. You know how he literally gets the
Yeah.
ball in his hands, he looks up straight away and he just pings a pass. It was
Yeah,
a really good ball. Yeah,
really, really impressive. So yeah, something I was
very good debut and a clean sheet. I know
and a
it's
clean
only
sheet.
Harrogate, but it's a clean sheet.
I think it's worth making the point. We're probably going to be making that caveat quite a lot, saying, look, it was only Harrogate. But I mean, one thing I was going to mention about just, how we played, I thought like I said, we played very well. But one thing I would say as well, just before we continue analysing players, is we looked good against Harrogate. I don't think we would be good against a Premier League team the way we were today. I think we was confident against them. Maybe because we thought, okay, well, we are the better team, we should be doing better. But I would be a little bit apprehensive if we played like this against Everton. Maybe there'd be a few things I keep. There'd be a few things I change as well.
The thing I'd say about it is as well, especially with like if you look at games last year, we're a slow starting team. We're not like one of these teams that will straight away we're ready to go. It seems like you have to have 15, 20 minutes for us to warm up and get our heads in the game, which is not something you can do in the Premier League. We need to be on it from minute one, ready to go, putting pressure on teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Just thinking about other players, though, that I think had a really good game. I thought Dara O'Shea had a very good game in defence. It's worth saying as well, I think Keeper had a good game in defence.
Yeah, I think they look good together.
Though, yeah, they seem like a good pairing. I'd maybe want to give Keeper a bit more time. Maybe give him a few like sub appearances just to get him used to playing. Because when he started off, he did look like he was a little bit rusty with a couple of things. But once he settled into the flow of the game, he looked confident. He's a big lad. He was good during set pieces. Actually had a couple of chances. Yes, Darren Moore Mark II.
I think you can say as well, though, that all the players look a little bit rusty still. You can tell that we haven't had a proper pre-season.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
this is our fourth game. So you've usually got another couple before they should be up to match fitness and ready to go. So I think with everything, I know we're all very critical and we all think we should be doing better, but I think these circumstances, you've got to give the team till like 4 or 5 games in the Premier League at least, and then go, okay, well now we should be fully fit, ready to go.
Really. Yeah, absolutely. It's a very good point to make. I mean, obviously, if you look at some games that happened at the weekend, like we brought up in the last chat we had, like Leeds and went really well against Liverpool. Now that's obviously because Leeds wanted it, probably in that game they wanted to go in sort of making a point, but it just proves that there's not really been a preseason. If you think that if Liverpool had a proper preseason, they might have done really well in that game. But we're completely in that same group. You usually have 5 or 6 preseason friendlies.
Yeah.
So
we've had 4 so far, like I say, to give it to like the 4th game.
Yeah. So, but and like always, like I say, we've got to give them. We've got to give it at least sort of 10 games before we can really think, okay, are we in trouble? Are we doing okay? Will we survive? But yeah, other players that I think played very well. Harper obviously scored a fantastic goal. I thought he looked really, really confident in midfield. I thought him and actually Sam Field, I thought actually both played really, really well.
Yeah.
And there was a point where they both seemed, confident as a pairing, and it'd be a pairing I'd be interested to see against a more challenging team.
There was a period in the second half where we were playing like a top club in the Premier League, if you know what I mean. We were pinging passes around like one-touch football, and it was really nice to see. We obviously haven't seen a lot of that in recent times, but it was nice to see that we were getting the ball shifted quickly and making space for ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. And thinking about that, it was just nice. It was nice seeing, and this is something I've been thinking about for a while. It was nice seeing academy players, homegrown boys playing in the squad, and just seeing the two of them together. And even when Sawyers came on, like having that little triangle of those three, thought they actually played really nicely as a triangle. So it could be something for Slav to think about. Another player I think it's worth us making a huge point about how well he played today is Kyle Edwards.
Yeah.
I think Kyle Edwards had an absolutely fantastic game. First half, he seemed pretty decent. Second half, it was like something just clicked in his brain, and it was like, right, well, I'm going to prove that I'm good enough.
Got given the armband as well, didn't he?
Did he get the armband?
He got given the armband.
Wow. Well, I didn't even notice that. So there you go.
Yeah.
But I thought there were many moments in that second half where he was just, it looked like he was just having fun. It looked like, how your mates would play at a park. He was just bossing the field. And, like we mentioned with Robinson's goal, just amazing bit of skill.
Brilliant
And then,
work down the left.
I mean, let's also point out just before that, the only reason he got the ball was because Matty Phillips had an absolute shocker of a shot. We'll get on to players that we didn't think played very well in a moment. But, for Edwards to go and collect that ball, make it round his player and set up Robinson and just put it on a tee for him.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
He'd be someone I'd be very, very keen to see make a first team appearance.
And I think if he could take that into the Premier League game as well, and not think of it like, if we're playing Everton next, right, I'm up against Coleman. He's a world-class right back. I can't really do that. I'm just going to shift the ball back or to the side. Or I want him to do I wouldn't mind if he did that 3 or 4 times and lost the ball. It shows intent, and that's what we want. We want players going forward. We don't want just this backwards football, because we're not going to get anywhere with that.
Yeah, completely agree. That was going to be a point I was going to make. Like,
sorry,
with the younger, no, it's good because some of the younger players that we had, like I said, like basically like the academy players, like Field, Harper, Edwards, O'Shea, Sawyers, like they tried things in this game. And again, maybe it's because it was against Harrogate and they were thinking, all right, well, we can afford to sort of have a bit of a play around and see like, oh, what works for us as a team. But some of the things worked, and it would be good to see that, taken into the Prem. And like you say, I'd be, if it was Edwards up against Coleman and he tried a couple of things and it didn't go so well the first couple of times, it's just him working out how to play against Premier League players, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it all game. I'd want him to eventually get past his man, but it'd be good to see him trying those things. Yeah. Is there anyone else that you sort of thought had a standout performance?
I thought Hal played quite well up top. I thought he put the work in. Again, he's not going to be our look to. He's not going to be our striker that starts every game, but I thought he played really well, and he got his goal as well, which was important. He's got one. He started the season off well.
And it was a great goal.
It was an amazing,
really great goal. Yeah. In fact, I even shared it on our Instagram story. I filmed it and shared it because I was like, if people have missed that goal, they're missing out because it was great, especially from him.
Yeah, I'll put it up on the page as well so people can definitely see it. So yeah, we've got to be promoting that. That was a banger. So, but yeah, I thought he played well. I thought Kipre played well at the back, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
I thought Townsend had quite a good game. He looked like he was confident going forward. He didn't have a bad game. Did he do enough to make Gibbs be number 2 next week? Not sure, but he had a solid game. But like we keep saying, it was Harrogate.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
again,
what
I
we've got
think
to take into consideration.
Yeah, there were a few things like we've said with a few people. He tried a few things. Like when he was up and down that left wing pretty confidently. He tried playing a few balls that maybe might have been a bit too ambitious, but sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. There were a couple of crosses that he got, and he was just unfortunate no one was on the end of them.
Yeah.
Which well played. They were right in the danger zone, as it were.
Yeah.
So I'd agree with that. A couple of players that maybe didn't have the best game today, though. Obvious one, but Charlie Austin. I'm a fan of Charlie Austin. I do like Charlie Austin. I liked him when he was at QPR. I liked him when he went to Southampton. I was happy when he joined us. I thought he's a good player, and he seems like a good, to quote Brendan Rodgers, character. But all I was thinking was either he hasn't kicked a football for a while, or he's forgotten how to play.
He just doesn't look fit at all.
Doesn't look fit.
Yeah.
Every pass was basically dodgy. I think his pass completion rate it's got to be lower than 20% because a lot of them were mistimed. I'd say he had one clear-cut chance to score a goal.
Well, yeah, it was that openish goal where he just had to beat one defender.
Yeah. Credit to the defender for getting in the way, but at the same time,
he was in the middle of the goal.
He's in the middle of the goal.
He couldn't use his hands.
And he's a striker.
Hit it either side. It's a goal.
Place it. You look at other Premier League teams, any of their strikers probably would have scored that goal.
I think Howe would have finished it.
Howe probably would have finished it. Robinson would have finished it.
Robinson would have finished it as well. So, yeah, we've got to be critical of him because he had a poor game. But he did look so match unfit. He just did not look like he'd had any training or anything. Looked like he'd just come back from his beach holiday.
Yeah, it is concerning when, as things currently stand, one of your two strikers can't score, what is almost an open goal. So, I do want to see more from Charlie Austin this season. I'd like him to, step his game up. He's played in the Prem before. In fact, earlier today, I was watching a compilation of goals from like 5 seasons ago, and he's in there of best goals of the season. So he can do it in the Prem. He can score against top goalkeepers. He just needs to either, reconnect that, that ability or, move on, go to a championship club. Other players that we thought maybe could have had a better game. One for me was probably Grzycki.
Yeah, he was disappointed to come off.
Yeah.
But, he made a few runs. He put a few balls into the boxes, but he didn't shine.
No. There were
like
a few
Edwards
moments
on the other wing.
There were a few moments I thought that he looked kind of selfish on the ball as well, actually.
Yeah.
There were opportunities in the first half where a little pass would have actually made it to Austin's feet. And I know we've just spent a couple of minutes talking about how disappointed we were with Austin, but he might have actually scored from those opportunities. And, a striker needs to have those chances and,
Yeah.
And then his free kick. And his free kick.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, was it?
It was a smart idea. Yeah. I think if it was someone like Pereira, probably would have gone in.
Yeah.
But, just need a little bit more from me, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who else was there? Anyone that you thought probably could have done a bit better?
I think that's pretty much everyone we've mentioned, isn't it, really? Sawyers came on, he played okay, but he didn't really have much to do. He just held the ball up and pinged his passes around like he always does.
Phillips looked okay.
Okay, but again, you could tell he wasn't fit.
Yeah.
He was making the runs. He had that one run from his own half, which he drove it all the way into their boxes, but then just ran out of gas, and he was just like, oh.
Yeah.
So that fizzled out.
Do it.
No, but again, he's another one that's coming towards the end stage of his career. So is he going to be a bit part player where he comes off the bench and you have to say 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you're going to just have to work your socks off. You can't do it all game.
Yeah. A couple of seasons ago, I would have said he's Premier League quality.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm not so sure.
No, well, he's not. I wouldn't start him ahead of Dean Garner or Edwards, personally.
No.
If you're looking at our wide players at the minute, he wouldn't get in ahead of them two.
No.
The other two have got too much energy and they'll go up and down all day long. So,
I mean, the only other person we haven't talked about is Peltier, who
he had an okay,
fine.
Yeah, he had an okay game. He didn't do anything wrong.
No,
but
Was he better than Furlong against Leicester?
He probably was, really. But it's against Harrogate. It wasn't like he'd only just.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. He was fine against them.
Again, he's not the youngest of people, is he? He's not going to be like Furlong would be able to go up and down all day long. Well, he should be able to. He's not going to be that sort of a player that we need in the Prem.
Yeah.
So, which is unfortunate because he did have he had an okay game. Like you say, he didn't do anything wrong. He won headers. He was strong in defence. He made some good tackles, good passes, but he's just not Premier League level, I don't think, personally. But
no. But I mean, but then we've basically sort of analysed every player there. But it's like we've said a few times, it's worth remembering we were against Harrogate Town, not a team that we were expected to struggle against. So it's good that in general everyone played pretty well, though.
Yeah,
that's kind of our sort of there were players that we thought stood out, but
yeah.
Let's just see how we get on against Everton. I mean, there were some key first team players that weren't there. Jake Livermore, Dean Garner, Pereira, Gibbs, Furlong,
Ajay didn't come
Ajay Johnson, a couple of others that didn't play today. It was the only person that played at the weekend was O'Shea.
Yeah.
So he's had 2 games on the bounce.
And do you know what? I like him at centre back.
Yeah,
he seems comfy there. I think that's where he'll naturally go. I don't think he's actually a wing back. I think he's more suited to a centre back role.
I think he played really well at right back when we put him there. I think he did a really good job. But yeah, just judging especially how he played today, I think he did okay against Leicester. But judging how he played today, I'm very keen to see how he got on. If you had to pick 3 players from today to break into the squad against Everton, who would be your 3?
The squad or the starting 11?
Let's say squad. To be like in the 18, possibly in the 11.
Edwards would definitely be up there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It's hard with anyone else because we're like like you said, Harper and Field had good games, but if Livermore and Sawyers had started there, would we have run the show even better? We don't know.
Yeah, we can't.
So
yeah, I know.
I'd say Jake's our number 1 for that central midfield role, and Sawyers is probably still number 2. But Harper did score that wonder goal tonight, so is it worth?
There'd be a bit of me inclined to sort of go, do you know what? You can start the game, and if if by half time you're not making the impact I thought you would, Sawyers comes on. I think we need a formation change as well for the next game. Not go. I think just that regular sort of 4 at the back formation works for us.
And we don't want to go back to Pulis's day. Like Slavan Bilic has brought this football to us last year where we were attacking. We don't want to lose that now. I'd rather us go down. I don't know about you. I'd rather us go down trying to win games than rather sitting back with a back 5, 4 in midfield and 1 up top for us to go, let's try and sneak a draw every game or try and nick a goal on the break or something. We haven't got that striker for one to go nick that goal on the break. So I think I'm with you. I think we should go for a formation change it to 4 at the back. Even if we have a deep midfielder like a Sawyers or a Livermore just sitting in front of that back 4, spraying the passes round, and they're there for defensive cover. So we technically have got the 5 because he's going to do the work coming back and he won't get forward as much as the other midfielders.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Personally.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to go back to defensive football.
No.
Jesus.
I think it would be better for us this season going down swinging.
Yeah, 100%. If you look at Sheffield United, even Norwich, if you look at Norwich, they didn't change the way they played the whole season. Yes, they went down, but they didn't go well defensive. They played every pundit said it. They've played really well today. They've just lost the game because of a defensive error. Yeah.
Someone I would be wanting to try out in the first team would be Button. I'd be wanting to maybe give him the start against ahead of Sam Johnson against Everton, purely because of how controlling he was of the defence. And like you said, we get nervy when Sam's there.
I always have, and I think this is one of the really underrated signings because I wasn't expecting much from him, if I'm completely honest. But the way he played tonight, I'd be inclined to agree with you. But then again, would you want to change him for a Premier League game? Just because Sam's been there, done it. But
I'd be inclined to give him a chance. I mean, I know we can't compare Leicester and Harrogate, but we can certainly compare the entirety of last season.
Oh yeah, of course you can. But if you look at Johnson on Saturday, if you were him, would you be disappointed to be dropped? Because I don't actually think he did a lot wrong. There was two penalties.
I would be disappointed to be dropped.
Yeah, there was 2 penalties, so you can't really blame him for either of them because it's a 50-50. And the other goal, the defence was poor.
No, you make a good point. I mean, my thought would be, just give him a go. I mean, at the moment, like we say, it's hard to maybe not against Everton.
Yeah,
maybe against Southampton.
Yeah, that might be a game for him to come in on. I'd be happier with that. Maybe I don't want to chuck him in and then for him to have a shocker and then.
Yeah. No, I get that.
That's it.
But I would like him to see. I would like to see him in the first team.
Yeah, definitely.
Few Premier League fixtures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess that wraps everything up. Anything else that you want to add on the game?
No, it was a good game, wasn't it? We won. We scored some goals.
We won.
Let's move on, and hopefully this will be the kickstart to the season, and we can go on and push on and try and score some more goals in the Premier League, which is what we need.
Yeah, I think it's going to have settled a few nerves for some West Brom fans across the country. Hopefully, like I say,
yeah,
get a bit of a
we've also got the good news of Conor Gallagher coming in as well within the next couple of days. So that's another signing. So if we can get him in, I think we still need a striker personally.
Well, let's hope we're still working towards one of the 3 we've brought up so many times.
Yeah, because I think they mentioned it on Sky Sports tonight that how much money do we actually have left in the kitty? Because we've spent 14 million up front on Dean Garner. If you look at Kipper, Button, who are about $1 million each.
Yeah,
we've only got about 5-ish left.
If we've only got a £20 million budget, it depends. They might turn around and go, do you know what? We need to invest.
I think looking at it, they've got to, because looking on tonight's performance, you can't rely on Austin.
Yeah.
So we can't go in with Canu and Zohor, but he wasn't even. I think he's going
in the squad.
No, I think he was. I think he's on the verge of going. The only problem is, which I didn't realise till the other day, is that he's demanding £50,000 wages still, because that's what we're paying him. And I was just like, 50 grand.
You got to earn that sort of wage.
Jesus, that's a lot of moolah for him. Massive amount. But
yeah, well, hopefully he gets that somewhere.
He's got a good agent, obviously.
Yeah.
So
wouldn't mind having someone like him sorting my wages out.
Yeah.
Well, that's been our post-match review of the game against Harrogate, which we won 3-0. Boing, boing. Of course, in association with WBA Base. Please subscribe if you'd like to hear more from us in the future. And of course, our socials are on the screen right now. The next time we'll see you talking about the matches will obviously be just after the Everton game at the weekend. Hopefully we'll have a nice little video in between where we can give you some transfer updates.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Nice one. Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you next time.
See ya.